What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You already know the drill. If you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button. We got some really cool content coming soon because we got our new two-post 9,000-pound lift. That is right. We finally were able to purchase a lift. This has been a dream of mine since I started working on cars, since the first time I used a lift. I still remember my first time ever using a lift and getting under the car that I just raised up and being so scared and sketched out. And that feeling goes away after working under them for years. But that being said, we want to do this process and install this lift with the intention on safety first. So we are not rushing this install, and I'm going to do it a certain way, which I'm going to explain right now. So there's two ways mostly people mount these lifts into the ground. Now you got to remember, this is a Chinese lift, okay? Say what you want about it, it's going to do exactly what I need it to do. This lift is made by Xinkong USA Incorporated, and it is the L2900 right off of Amazon. After tax, all said and done, I believe $2,300 shipped to my front door. The forklift rental for the day was $185, and they only charged me $40 to drop it off and $40 for them to come pick it back up, and then I believe like $75 for insurance. So you figure I'm in it. Let's call it $3,000. Still a great investment. So we got it into the garage last night with the help of my buddy Mike. He's actually on his way over right now. And the way that I'm going to be installing this lift, like I was saying, is there's two ways to install these lifts. There's the wedge anchors that usually come with the lift. You drill a hole in the concrete, you put the wedge anchor in, you hammer it all the way down until there's just a little bit, maybe a half an inch. You put the nut on it while you're hammering it so you don't damage the threads. And you just make the nut flush with the top of the threads, hammer it all the way down, and then you start tightening it. And when you're tightening it, it starts spreading the bottom of the wedge and it gets wedged into the concrete. There's a lot of pros and cons with those. Couple cons, they always seem to end up loosening up, and you always have to end up retorquing them. Another con is they can cause concrete cracking because they're putting side load on the concrete. That wedge is expanding and putting side load on the concrete. So the other method of installing a lift like this is to do what I'm going to do. So I got some 3/4 inch threaded rod, grade 5. Got a few different lengths. I believe these are a foot each, and then I got a 7/8 drill bit for the concrete itself. You may be asking, why did you get a 7/8 drill bit for a 3/4 inch rod? Well, because we're going to be using epoxy, which that word scares people when you're dealing with lifts, but a lot of commercial companies, such as townships, any place that OSHA is really going to be there and required to do their daily checks and stuff, this is how they install them. And from what I read online, a lot of people that are like do-it-yourselfers don't like going with this method, and they don't trust it, but a lot of professionals do. So this is the method I'm going with. So what's going to happen is there is a better product you can use. Home Depot did not have it. I believe it's like something dash 3C, something like that. but it's basically a high strength anchoring epoxy. So I'll show you exactly what I got. I got the Secrete, and this is the high strength anchoring epoxy, 24-hour set time for 1+ inch applications, and it has a 21,500 psi pull out strength. High strength adhesive for anchoring bolts and rebar in concrete. And it is self-mixing, and it comes with this long applicator. So what I would like to do is, first of all, most importantly, I'm not 100% sure how deep my pad is in my garage. So I'm gonna find that out first. I know for a fact that it's at least 4 inches, because I did mount something right here, actually literally right here, with 4 of those wedge anchors before, and they did work fine, but it was just for one of those manual tire changing machines from Harbor Freight. It wasn't anything crazy that's going to be holding thousands of pounds. Another thing, it's all about use. So this is my home garage. This isn't a commercial spot. So the concrete isn't going to be super thick, but I'm hoping it's going to be more than 4 inches. We're going to find out. But I don't plan, even though it's a 9,000 pound lift, I don't plan on putting pickup trucks on this lift or anything like too crazy. It's mostly going to be just for passenger vehicles, small sedans and stuff like that, just to make my life easier for the time being, doing brakes, suspension work. I have 4 struts to do on a Toyota Avalon coming up, stuff like that. We are also limited with height. So the overall length from the bottom of the post to the top of the post is 8 foot 10 inches. From my garage floor to the top of the beam, not my ceiling, to the lowest part of the garage, which is this beam, is a little over 9 feet. So we're good there. But I'm going to have to work on positioning it. So at this stage right now, let me finish talking about how I'm going to install it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this drill bit. This is a 10-inch drill bit. I'm going to drill 10 inches into the ground. Hopefully I don't hit dirt. If I do, it's whatever. I'm going to use my shop vac. I am going to shop vac out the holes while using my air compressor and my blowgun to blow out the holes. And then I will also use a brush to clean out the holes I drill. This is very important. For this epoxy to work right, these holes need to be completely clean. There can't be any dust or dirt or grime or pieces in there. And I want to do this right, like I said. So, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but that is the way that I am going to mount this. Leave a comment in the comment section, and I can't wait to see, who thinks which way is better, or trust which one better, or trust which one more, and we'll go from there. This is just how I'm gonna do it, and we'll see how it works out. So yeah, my friend should be here soon. Both of these posts for the lift are on top of each other. So there's a metal plate on the front, and then on the top and the bottom, with bolts going through the foot plates. I'm going to loosen up those bolts, and we're going to get one post off. We'll take the arms out because they're sitting inside the posts. We'll get the posts stood up, this stuff out of the side of the garage, and I'm going to take down the garage door opener, and we're going to start positioning them where I want them. I do have the diagram of the measurements and lengths of where everything should be at, but like I said, who knows how accurate that is. There was mixed reviews, but this is how I will be mounting and securing this into my concrete, and we're going to find out real soon how thick this concrete is, and we will go from there. So I will most likely throw you guys on time lapse because my friend just pulled up, and me and him will get the posts separated and stand one up, and we'll start positioning them and find out where we're gonna have to mark these holes and what would be best. So you know the drill, guys. Let's get to work. Keep wrenching. All right, guys. So my buddy Mike just stopped by and helped me out with basically all I really need help with for right now, which was getting the top post separated from the bottom post. So there was 4 bolts holding the bottom plate to the metal frame, and what I was concerned about was the hydraulic pump sits right underneath it. If I were to take those 4 bolts out, it would have been sitting on the hydraulic pump, which I don't want getting damaged, especially because it's Chinese crap. So he came by, we put the jack right there, and I put it right on the edge, got the bolts out. The other side only had 1 bolt, and it is a heavy post, even though it's short, but we were able to just muscle it up and set it on the ground next to it. So I'm going to get the pump out, unwrapped, put that to the side, and then I'll take the arms out of the second post, and what we'll do is we'll start just, you know, getting the posts ready to get stood up and assembled and everything like that. One thing I did notice is you see this cable right here. It's like, I don't know why it's ran this way. So yeah, but we'll deal with that when we get to that. And then another thing I wanted to mention, so I did buy it on Amazon, and I read some reviews, and people were saying that it got delivered and some of the paint was messed up and yada 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 and all that stuff. Hold on, let me fix my mic. So yeah, like I was saying, people were saying, the paint was messed up and stuff. So since it is Amazon, and they're pretty cool with certain things if you message them, I do see that this hydraulic cylinder, I don't know if this is from shipping or what, but it has some really deep gouges in it. So I'm gonna try and get them to just send me a new one. I'm gonna complain about it and try and get them to send me a new one. And then up here, there is just some scratch paint damage. But what do you expect when this is, coming from literally China on a boat to here to FedEx to this to that? But they did a good job packaging it up. As far as I know, the pump's not damaged, but I haven't even taken a look at it yet. So it's going to be a process, but like I said, you just take your time. Some people I've seen just get these delivered and they rush installing them. I don't recommend doing that. I recommend really taking your time, especially because they don't provide good directions. Luckily, I have installed a few of these before, not the Chinese ones, but like, bend packs and stuff. So I'm familiar with how the cable system should be ran and how to get it installed and everything. So I will continue unpacking and unboxing, and we will go from there. So I'll throw you guys on the time lapse. I'm actually going to eat lunch real quick, and then we'll get back after it. Oh, we got to take this out. Oh, all right, cool. Hold on, I got to run it. Oh, no, it goes under. Okay, yeah, we're good. Lift it? Yep. Oh, garage door. There we go. Yep. Yeah, see it's scratched and shit. Yeah. I mean, yep, that's shipping for you. All right, guys. So basically, had my brother-in-law come by, help me get everything lifted up and out of the package. So we got both the posts out. I will say, if you read the reviews, like I said, I got this on Amazon. After all said and done, it was like $2,300, and a lot of the reviews were saying that the paint came scratched, which what do you expect with how far they're shipping it and for the price, but it did come in like a metal frame. sort of. It had like two metal pieces attaching lift and holding everything together. So it did have these scratches right here, and then also on the cylinder right here from the chain rubbing on it. But because it is Amazon and the scratch right there, I'm going to message Amazon, send them the pictures and tell them, or I'm going to try and negotiate with them. Here's another piece of the frame. Then we got all four legs. And I'm just going to tell them, hey, both the cylinders on both posts are a little damaged and scratched up. I'd like new cylinders sent to me, and if you guys do, I will leave a good review. So usually they're really big on that. The reviews mean everything to Amazon and corporations like that. So they'll usually work with you. But for the most part, that's basically it for now. I'm going to clean up the rest of the side of the garage. I'll get the posts set kind of where I want them, and then the rest is just taking measurements, getting the middle bar to kind of center everything. And once I'm 100% sure where I want it, because I want to be able to open the drawer to my toolbox still and have room in front of the car. Once I am 150% where I want it, then we'll start drilling the holes. So I'll show you guys what I ended up picking up to do that. Went to Harbor Freight, never fails. I got the Bauer hammer drill, or the SDS. It's the Bauer 1 1/8 inch SDS variable speed pro rotary hammer kit. It was $100, but if you are a Harbor Freight member, you got it for $70, which is cheaper than their cheaper version of this that's a lot bigger and bulkier, and I don't believe it's variable speed. So I am a member. That's what I ended up doing. So that's where we're at for right now. You guys know the drill. I'll throw you on time lapse, and we'll clean up. I'll get these kind of where I want them, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned. What is up, guys? You know the drill. Welcome back to the channel. I might actually put this clip in with some other clips that I'd taken yesterday. I'm not too sure yet, but long story short, we got the post, everything out of the package. Let me turn this light on because it's got a sensor. Got everything out of the package. I did message Amazon, the Amazon seller, and I'm trying to get them to send me 2 new pistons because they're a little damaged, which honestly isn't going to affect them at all. But if I could get 2 new pistons sent to me for free and keep them as spares, why not? So right now what I'm trying to do is map out, where I'm going to put this thing. So for right now, this is the issue that I'm running into. I've been looking up the average wheelbase, or I shouldn't say wheelbase, bumper to bumper length of average cars in America. And they range from 125 inches to 139 inches to 165 inches if you got a 5.5 foot bed, super crew like my F150, which I don't plan on putting anything like that on this lift in here. It'd be pointless. Like I said, this lift is just to do suspension work and brakes, stuff like that, a lot easier without getting on the ground. And then I'll eventually move this lift into my shop when I get a commercial building. So the lift posts from the back of the plate on the actual post, so the back of the plate to this back of the plate, has to be 129.9 inches according to the Chinese manual, which who knows how accurate that is. But that's right here, this black mark on the floor. So you can see where the lift is now. The back of it has to go line up with that black mark right there, which means this post is going to be past, all the way over this way to the left, which is fine because, that's what lift arms are for. So I'll still be able to pull a car in through the garage door. I might have to turn the wheel to the right a little bit and center the car, but I'm not worried about that. I'll figure that out and everything. I have the ability to move it back, and it's not going to interfere with my other garage door or the mounts for the garage door right there. The hose reel, that's going to have to get moved. So I'm going to move this post back to where it's got to be. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it as far back as possible to the back right there of the the bracket for the garage door framing, or whatever it's called, the wheel track. So same thing on this side. I'm going to move this lift post over just enough so it's almost touching right there. So I'll move it over to the left, maybe, I don't know, 8 inches. And then from there, I'm going to measure. I already measured from with my garage door closed. I measured from the lip right here, not the actual door, but the lip right there, because I know if the bumper lines up with that, the garage door will close just from experience, to the front of my toolbox. And I got like 195 inches, and that ended up like right here. 195 inches is pretty long. Standard passenger car, like I said, it varies, but I think we'll be all right with that. But before I drill any holes or anything like that, there's going to be a lot of moving around, taking that garage door opener off and moving around these posts, because I'm only doing this once. I'm not going to play games. I'm going to measure 4 times and, drill once. As they say in construction, measure twice, cut once. So I want to make sure that I have this perfectly set up to the point where it is going to be able to accept the most amount of average vehicles that I may come across, including SUVs. So I got an SUV in my driveway right now, Hyundai Santa Fe Sport. Forget what year it is. So I just measured that bumper to bumper. It was right at like 132 inches. So it would fit, and I'd still have access to open my toolbox drawers all the way. That's really all I care about. I don't want to have this set up and be squeezed in between the front bumper of the car and my toolbox and have no room to work. That would defeat the purpose. So I'm going to move these posts back as far as possible. And then worst case scenario, what I'll end up doing is, honestly, I'm even willing to do it and shell the money out for it. I'll just take that garage door completely out, and I will extend this frame for this garage door up, all the way up. And what I'll do is I will have like a barn style door, and that's it. If I have to do that, if we run into that issue. Now, if my toolbox wasn't up against the wall right here and I left this spot open, we'd have no problem at all. But there's really nowhere else to put all my stuff. I'm dealing with limited space right now, which is why I want to get into a commercial space as soon as possible. There's actually a shop right around the corner from me right now that it was the first shop I've ever worked at, and I was the only mechanic working there in a 4-bay shop, and I was 21 years old, and they were paying me $10 an hour cash, and I was pumping out work with no comebacks and doing lift kits, doing great mechanic work. I had a Snap-on box, 21 years old, $7,000 box, filled with tools. I was in a bunch of debt, and I was making $10 an hour. And the guy just didn't want to pay me more because he knew I was young and stupid and dumb, and I quit. And then he called me back and got me to work for him again. I quit again, and he called me back one last time, and I denied his request for me to come back. So I actually think I'm going to give him a call. Today's Sunday. I'm going to call him tomorrow because he was renting that building. It's not his, but he was renting it. And I think I'm going to try and see if they'll let me rent just 1 or 2 of the bays there, because it's literally a mile from my house. And it's a really nice shop with a lot of parking. So, and that shop's ready to go. It's actually got lifts in it already. So, long story short, it is 7:59 a.m. I got 11 a.m. job today. Another rush job, so I'm crunched on time. This is not going to get drilled today, but I need to get to work and stop babbling on. If you caught my video from last night, I got a little emotional, and it just, things really started to hit me as far as like life goals and business, and how I've always wanted to own my own shop and just do my own thing, and slowly but surely it's becoming a reality. So I really want to do everything right and do good quality work. So other than that, let me stop babbling and get to work before it's 11 and I'm late for my job, which never happens because I'm always early. So throw you guys on time lapse, and you'll see me struggle trying to figure out how I'm going to do this by myself with these Chinese directions that are absolutely horrible. Most people already said they're horrible. And they give you everything in millimeters. So, they say the back plate of the post to the other back plate should be 3,300 millimeters, which is 129.921 inches. So I put it to 100. I put it right at like 129.9, like almost right to 130. Not going to make it that big of a difference. So let's get this project started. Alright guys, so quick update of what I'm trying to do right now, and leave the negative comments to yourself. Advice I'm willing to take, but negative comments and disrespect, it's just not what this channel's about. I'm a mechanic. I work on cars. I'm not I'm not a contractor or a builder. I'm all right with a tape measure, and I'm all right with doing some concrete. I could finish concrete. There's things I'm good at that people who are going to comment saying, why didn't you do it this way? that they're not good at. So, you know, everybody's got their thing that they're good at, and nobody knows it all. So right now I'm trying to, uh, I got my, I got my length right. So that black line right here, if I got the back of the post, the blue back of the post on that black line, I am lined up perfectly at 129.9 inches, which is right at 130. It's off a little bit right now because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that these posts are level this way. So I do have a laser, actually. I'm going to go grab it, and I'm going to shut all the lights in here, and that's going to make this a lot easier, and it's going to tell me if it's straight or not. So I will grab that, shut the lights, and that'll help me straighten it up. But for right now, what I did was I threw the tape measure. I got this post all the way up against the wall. Now, in the instructions, it says you need a certain amount of concrete behind the post, like behind the base plate, which I do because underneath this is still the concrete slab underneath that shelf. So I still got about a foot of concrete behind the end of the post. So we're good there. But what I did was I set up the tape measure. I put it right there, and I kind of just pushed it up against here to keep it level. I made sure it followed the black line that I made with the level, and then I brought it over here, and this post was way off. It was way too far forward towards the garage doors, so I moved it back a little bit, and it seems like right there, they're level, and you know, going this way, however you want to say it. Like I said, I'm a mechanic. I work on cars. I don't do stuff like this. So I'm going to grab the laser, and I think I'm going to do it that way because I also think it wouldn't be a bad idea to move this post a little bit more to the left. But I'm also trying to think, you know, yeah. I think it would be a good idea for me to move this post a little bit more to the left because the majority of most cars' weights, the weight of the car is in the front. So you want to be able to, you know, pull it up far enough and use the arms to distribute the weight. And my biggest fear with this isn't anything to do with the garage door having to be open or closed or whatever the case may be. I plan on changing that anyway. My biggest fear is mounting this, having it bolted down, putting a car on it, and me being squished in between the front of the car and my toolbox. And I'm not doing that. So let me grab the laser, and what I'll do is I'll move this post first over as far as possible to until it's basically touching, you know, that metal bracket for the garage door, almost touching it, and then we'll grab the laser and we will line this one up same way. So that's just a quick update, and then once that's done, the length is perfect. So what I'll do is I'll run the cables on the bottom, then I'll run the hydraulic line, and then we will put the base plate. Yeah, and that's it, and then we'll start drilling holes. What I might do though, because these holes need to be drilled perfectly straight. A lot of people don't understand when they're using you know, this type of hammer drill with SDS hammer drill with these bits. You know, you might start wobbling and wallowing out that hole, and that can't happen. It's got to be perfectly straight. So for this post, Once I know exactly where I want it, I'm going to mark the holes and move it out of the way. Then I'm going to drill them. That post, I will drill the holes with the post there. But for this one, just because it's so close up against this wall, that I'm going to move it, mark it, and then drill the holes. So let me grab the laser level, and we're making good progress, but you know, I want to get this done fast and get as much done as possible before I have to go to my 11 a.m. mechanic job, mobile mechanic job. Very easy job, shouldn't take longer than an hour, charging the guy $100. He's got a lug nut that is completely stripped that needs to come off, and then I just need to change one rotor and the set of pads for that wheel. He did all the other work himself, so should be pretty easy. So let me grab that laser and we'll get right to work. I'm praying that it's not in the bucket of tools that I brought with me to my girl's house to do some work at her house. I am praying that it's not there, because if it is, then I'm just gonna have to wing it like I did, and that's about it. So let me go try and find that, and I'll throw you guys back on time lapse. Alright guys, audio is gonna be a little different because my mic setup is packed up in the car, but we just got the car packed up and we're heading over to that 11 a.m. job. Real simple, like I said. He's just got one wheel and the chrome cap on the lug nut came off, and the lug nut's a little stripped and he's not able to get it off. So I'm charging him for an hour of labor to remove it and do the front rotors and pads, and then replace that lug nut, not the stud and the lug nut, just the lug nut. So let's head on over there and see what we're dealing with, even though I got pictures already. I'm 150% sure we'll be done with this within 30 minutes, so we'll see. Alright guys, so this was that Jeep I was talking about with the lug nut that the chrome cap had gotten stuck on. So here's the socket that I used. I used an 11/16, pounded it on there. It came right off with the impact. The customer was able to do the other 3 rotors and pads, but this one he just wasn't able to get off. So pretty simple job. It was a 30-minute drive here, around a 30-minute drive here, 30-minute drive back. But all in all, maybe 20 minutes worth of work. So not too bad. So everything's basically done. We're gonna throw the wheel back on. We're gonna leave this lug nut off. He's gonna get a new one. And if you know anything about these lug nuts, they come on a lot of the Hondas, the Fords, and the Toyotas. And it's a steel lug nut, but it has the chrome cap. If you go on Amazon, I'll leave a link in the description. You can replace these with all steel so they don't swell up and you don't have to deal with it ever again. Also, this Milwaukee pack out that I bought not too long ago, I know I showed you guys this a couple days ago. It's a lifesaver. It saves so much time. Somebody had commented saying that it wasn't going to be able to support the weight of mechanic tools. I don't load it down anything crazy, and it's been saving me a bunch of time, which in turn saves me money. So I highly recommend it for anybody doing mobile mechanic work. So let me get this wheel back on so we can get this guy on his way and not waste any more of his time. And make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.